on the inbound play. Inbound. Base.
All right, my friends, fifth quarter, Chad Doing and Chris Burkhardt with you. A little Corey Hart for you. Canadian Corey Hart as the Blazers grab their first win of the season in Toronto over the Raptors. And really, that was a great team effort. And I like a lot of different things. And we'll talk about it throughout the course of the night. But thought the defense, especially there in the second half, and as they needed to close out the game, it was solid. We had multiple guys step up and make a contribution. The veterans got involved, and we saw DeAndre Ayton have a monster game tonight, one of the best efforts he's had in quite some time, where he finished the night with 10 points and a career-high 23 rebounds, 7 of those on the offensive glass. The Blazers much better winning the rebounding battle tonight with 51 rebounds, did some work on the offensive glass, and as I mentioned with the veterans, multiple guys stepped up to make shots. Matisse Thybulle, 3 of 4 from downtown, finished with 9 points. Jeremy Grant, 37 minutes, 22 points, and 6 rebounds. I mentioned the effort by Ayton, a double-double, 10 points, career-high 23 rebounds in 32 minutes. And off the bench, Malcolm Brogdon, 21 points and 5 assists. Not to mention a good performance from Shaden Sharp, 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. And Scoot Henderson tonight with 11 points and 7 assists before fouling out of the ballgame. So, again, as we mentioned before, and we talked about before the game tonight, incremental progress, incremental growth. That's what it's all about right now. And their effort and their persistence paid off tonight as they were able to harass the Raptors with their hustle and their energy and held them to just 40% shooting and a ridiculously bad 4 of 29 from downtown. The Blazers won the three-point line tonight. They were plus 21 at the three-point line, which is amazing for this team. So good effort, man. Congratulations to the guys for grinding through the first 3 games. And I thought what made tonight's win even more impressive was what happened yesterday in Philadelphia. You get pounded by 28 points, but you get on a plane, you get back out on the floor. In the second of a back-to-back, you respond with a good effort. And the guys, I think, can celebrate this one a bit, get their first win out of the way, which is nice. Now Portland will move on to Detroit and take on the Pistons Wednesday. That will be a 4 o'clock tip. And then they're back home for home games on Friday and Sunday against the Memphis Grizzlies. And, that's the way it's going to be with this team. All these guys, even DeAndre Ayton tonight, and it was nice because Chauncey Billups kind of freed him up to be a bit of a decision maker. We talked about his importance, before the game. He was vital tonight for the Trailblazers. But I really like the energy that we saw from, once again, Jabari Walker, Tamani Kamara. And when those two are on the floor with Shaden Sharp, you can see the athleticism and the hustle. And there was some good playmaking tonight we saw from Sharp. So multiple guys stepped up and made a contribution. Good defensive effort down the stretch, and they get a win. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. 503-248-0620. You can hit me up on X at Chad and Rip City. Chris Burkhardt is here. Congratulations to the boys tonight. They got their first win.
Yes!
I didn't expect them to go up there to Toronto and get the win, second of a back-to-back, but we saw some scrap tonight. Just what Chauncey Billups was wanting to see from his group, and the peskiness that they showed defensively, especially there in the second half, paid off.
It absolutely did. And I think the peskiness is right. And there's a lot that I like from this game. We'll talk about it throughout the night. But I think you're right. They showed a little bit of just that dog in them, as we talked about all last year, right? And they just didn't have the let up tonight. And that's what you like to see. You already mentioned it. But for a young team, Chad,
Yeah.
back to back after what happened in Philly, where the reigning MVP stick it to you, right? Slapped you in the mouth. I think that's an impressive bounce back, and it doesn't mean they're going to go win 44 games or anything, but it's a good building block of and a sign of things to come.
Yeah, it's just the type of effort that you wanted to see, and a good response, and that's a good sign for this young group. But I'm telling you, Jabari Walker and Tamani Kamara are going to continue to demand playing time from the coaches. Kamara, at times defensively, he's all over the place, making a difference and not quitting on plays. A lot of the things that Kamara does, they don't go down in the stat sheet. So you've got to watch him. In fact, I would encourage you to do so in this game coming up Wednesday against Detroit. Pay attention to Kamara and watch the way that he plays. Watch the way that he grinds out there defensively. But he's in the right place, making good decisions and making a difference, especially on defense, which is terrific. And I thought Malcolm Brogdon, he didn't shoot the ball well in the first half, but his playmaking and decision-making down the stretch in the fourth quarter, hit a couple of big shots. It was key. Nice to see Jeremy Grant, making an effort and getting involved and being a shot maker when they need him to. And I love to see DeAndre Ayton. I'm a big fan of Ayton.
Jeremy Grant hits the thruple.
That's right. The thruple, baby. DeAndre Ayton is I like him. Well, that's pretty much it. I like the guy. So I want him to do well. So it was nice to see him get off and play with that type of energy and that type of effort. 23 rebounds, a career high. He was a difference maker tonight, and that's really all you need to know about that. This is kind of a blueprint, and not perfect because they did have stretches of, some clumsy basketball or ugly basketball, whatever you want to call it. But this kind of lays the blueprint for what this team needs. Great energy and hustle from everyone who plays. Not giving up defensively, and then it's going to take multiple guys to make a contribution on the offensive end for them to be able to compete and be competitive in some of these games they've got coming up on the schedule, especially with Anthony Simons out. But it was good. And even Scoot Henderson, who was not perfect, continuing to have issues with foul trouble, we saw some better strides where the game was, slowing down a little bit in a couple of spots where he was able to make a couple of plays, which I thought was cool. But their defense is what kept them in the game. And that's probably the best thing you can say about the win tonight. Their defense, getting stops, even when their offense was, trying to work out some of the issues, it was the defense that kept them in the game and within striking distance to be able to make the move. And what I like from this young group is they made that push at the end of the third quarter. And they outscored the Raptors 33-24 in the third, and then they kept the pressure on. And even when the Raptors cut it to one a couple of different times at 86-85, 88-87 late in the fourth, the Blazers responded by getting a big three from Jeremy, a big bucket from Malcolm Brogdon, and they closed the game out on an 11-4 run. That's good. That's good. That's progress. We saw some incremental growth from some of the guys who were on the floor. And just overall a much smoother operation. So, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I like it. Give it to me. And I'm sure some of you did as well. But it's good. And I like it when multiple guys are able to make a contribution. When you can look up and down the line and say, okay, that guy did, check. But that's how it is. Thibault made a contribution. Grant, definitely DeAndre Ayton, Shaden Sharp, and Scoot Henderson, Malcolm Brogdon, Tamani Kamara, and Jabari Walker. All making impact type plays, game winning type plays. And when you can have 8 guys who take the floor that make game winning plays to help get you over the top, that's a good sign. It's a very good sign. So, like we mentioned before, you just got to remain somewhat patient, understanding that this iteration of the Blazers is going to take more than 3 or 4 games to develop. It's going to take time. And they might struggle Wednesday in Detroit, but that's okay. But we're looking for minor changes, growth. Even if it's just a smidge, any type of growth that moves this team and some of the players in the right direction is what we want to see. And that's the one good thing about this year. It's you can relax. We can all relax. I certainly feel that way. Watching the games right now is a pleasure because I haven't had this experience where I can just sit back and watch the game and pay attention to different players and not have any care in the world about the result. It's kind of nice. I'm not used to that. This is a different type of vibe and feel for a Trailblazer basketball team. But that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just sitting back, not really concerned about the result. I'm happy they got the win and got their first win of the year. I think that's great. But I'm just having fun watching the different guys, watching Scoot to see what he does game to game, enjoying watching Shaden Sharp develop more confidence out there on the floor and showcase some of the different things he can do, being, a facilitator, making shots, DeAndre Ayton's effort, Tamani Kamara, and all the different things he can do, and just the ridiculous energy that Jabari Walker plays with. It's just like bing, 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 all these different things that I'm paying attention to when I'm watching. It's kind of a nice process. I haven't really gone through that in such a long time because we're always caught up in, what's going on with Dame? Are they going to make a move? Are they going to win the game tonight? Why'd they lose that game? I can't believe they blew that game. Man, Dame had 60. That was amazing. It's all these things that we're always wrapped up into and worried about. And now I'm just like watching games like, okay, let's see what the guys do. Let's see the development. Let's see the next step. What's the next level of progression for some of these guys? Are you feeling me on that? That's what it's like for me when I'm watching these games right now. All right, let's keep things rolling here on the 5th quarter. Hope you're enjoying your Monday evening with the World Series and Monday Night Football and Trailblazer basketball. That's right, man. This is a winner's song here. Blazers get their first win of the season up at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, 99-91. And next game's coming up on Wednesday in Detroit against the Pistons. Tip-off at 4. And, of course, it'll be right here on your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio. You can join us right now on our YouTube live stream. Just go to youtube.com and go to our homepage, Rip City Radio 620. You can join in on the live stream. And starting next Tuesday, 1 week from tomorrow, every single show, Rip City Mornings, Rip City Drive, Blazers Game Day, and 5th Quarter will all be live streamed on YouTube. And you can access the links from our homepage, Rip City Radio 620.
Liberty Coin and Currency presents the fifth quarter shot of the night. Liberty Coin and Currency, the place to buy and sell your gold, silver, jewelry, and coins.
Here's Grant behind his back, dribbled it off his heel, gets it back, lost it, gets it again, puts up a three, bounces up, no good. Sharp can't get the putback, tipped around Aiton's got it. New career high, 22 rebounds. Back up to Brogdon, 10 to shoot, 35 seconds to play. Brogdon near midcourt, he's defended by Gary Trent Jr. Standing on the logo, down to 4 to shoot. Brogdon takes off, he drives, he goes up, he banks it in! Malcolm Brogdon with 21 to lead the Blazers. It's a game high, and the Blazers lead it 97-91. Timeout Raptors.
All right, fifth quarter, Chad Doing and Chris Burkhardt. And Chris, we do have issues. It's about time that we get the interior decorators in here, because now I've got people offering up all of their advice on what we need to do with the desk and what's on the desk and all the stuff surrounding us. What you're looking at, this is the real inside look at what we have here. You've got my very pretty laptop case and my Nespresso bag back here that I have a variety of different stuff jammed into that bag. Always, like you have in a radio station, wires everywhere. I've got my Nespresso machine, my water bottle, my prescription pill bottle that I use to put my vitamins in. It's now empty because I took all my vitamins. And I have bar wrappers and a couple of different coffee mugs. I've got one for water and one for my coffee. And this little cup here is, Miranda sent this to me. Oh, hey, Governor Cuomo. So that's what I've got there. And he's like shirtless. So that's what we have in the studio. Not pretty. It is what it is.
I think in general, the public grossly fantasizes and overestimates what a actual radio studio looks like. Like, the radio studios tend to be pretty boring.
Yeah. Also, I have this hanging up in here because this is one of my favorite things that came out of the Oregonian back in the day. This clown, Stu Inman, that used to work for the Trailblazers. It's a nice little article on why he wouldn't want to take Larry Bird in the draft. Where is the quote that I love in this? Oh, yeah, here it is. Blazers player personnel director said on Tuesday, quote, and this is Stu Inman, "I just don't think we will draft a player who will not join our team right away." Thanks, Inman. Really appreciate that. Because you wouldn't want a guy like Larry Bird on your squad, fool. See, I keep notes. I keep a list, Burkhardt. One of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life.
Deion Sanders out here keeping receipts.
Keep receipts. And then we know what it looks like over there. Dude, most radio studios I've been in look worse than this. Yeah, the only nice studio I've had, it was not a radio studio. It was the one that was built out down at NBC for TV purposes.
Yeah, 'cause it was a TV studio.
Yeah, TV people have all the nice stuff. That annoys me because it's the TV fake sports people that show up and ask really bad questions after games.
Well, everyone in the YouTube chat needs to go tell their friends, and their friends can tell 5 friends. We can pyramid this scheme to get enough followers that we'll get a budget to decorate.
See, I'm old enough to know what pyramid schemes are all about. I was approached multiple times when I was younger, back in the early 90s, by people representing Amway constantly, and how it was what I needed to do with my future.
Did you pay a penny for your first 10 CDs, and then after that get charged 20 for every one? Where the heck it was?
I did. Yeah, my brother turned me onto that whole gig.
You know what's funny? They do that exact same thing that they used to do at the CDs, but it's streaming services now. It's like, sign up, get your first 3 months for 99 cents. And then after that, they charge you like $30 a month, and you don't even know, and you're signed up, and you don't know how to cancel, and your money just keeps going out the back.
Well, what's really sad, too, is that there are certain online publications I need access to for sports information, different newspapers and stuff. And the problem is that I sign up for these insanely cheap, like 6 or 12-month deals where you get like 6 months of the paper for like $1, but you have to plug in all your information, and then I forget about it, and then I'll get hit one day payday is coming, and then I got to pay up for the full charge. But I forget when I sign up for these things and when to cancel out. And I do that all the time on Amazon because they'll have movies on different channels I want. So I'll sign up for the free introductory deal, and then a week later I get hit with the full price because I forget to end the temporary trial run. It happens to me all the time.
The old trick, I don't even know if you get away with it anymore, but the old trick was to do that sign up, but to sign up with a gift card, because then it would charge the gift card, and then the next month when it was supposed to charge, it didn't come out of your bank. It went to the empty gift card, and then you're just, no money, and then you have to worry about canceling. Just cancel it itself when there was no money to come out of the gift card.
The one thing we do need in here is a refrigerator. We need like one of those little corner fridges. We've got one down the hallway, but it's not convenient when you're on radio.
No.
To have to walk down the hallway.
Hey, one step at a time.
You need to bring in more jerky, too. I don't care if it's stuff from Costco or from the original steer, the family meat market you guys have. Do it.
I'll do my best, but jerky doesn't make the walls look better, okay?
The problem is this room needs too much work. I guess what we could do is you just do one side of it. It's getting the YouTube side.
That's what you do. I mean, like I have my nice backdrop for if I go live and do my stuff on Twitch at home, and no other spot in my house looks as good as that background.
That's the way to do it. And a lot of TV studios do that too, where one side looks spectacular, but you can't see the other side because the camera's only pointing in one direction.
Oh, trust me. I mean, you saw it there at NBC, and you go to like a news station, like the news desk looks immaculate, and what the person sitting at the news desk has to stare at behind the camera is usually just an empty void of nothing.
It's true. Yeah, that room, what do they call that? The old NBC downstairs that we'd film in. Behind the cameras was just like a warehouse. There was nothing.
Yeah, Studio B or something. Half the time, for half the year, it was like the Great Toy Drive area. So there was nothing but presents and bicycles. It smelled like a Toys R Us, which wasn't terrible.
Lions on top of the Raiders, 23-14 on Monday Night Football. I do want to talk to you about Tamani Kamara. I like him, Chris. And what I'm noticing with him is he provides an effort defensively that we haven't seen in a long time. And he knows exactly where to go. He's fighting over screens. We haven't seen that in Portland in ages.
What, going over a screen or just fighting?
Yeah.
Both?
Both. I like Tamani.
I like him too, and fans are latching on to him. They seem to love him if you follow X and see what people are posting about. But I like it too because the defensive side of the ball is the hardest spot of the game to learn. You either have it or you don't. And if you don't have it, it's hard to teach it. And so the fact that he has it, he has that drive. I find it really interesting because you got him who's showing it. You got Thibault. You got Robert Williams. You got a guy in Chris Murray who's not even playing right now, but I think has potential on both sides of the floor. Like there's little things here that are just really fun to watch. And the fact that Tamani to most people at the time was just, a throw in the Dame trade. And here he is looking good. Maybe people were onto something when they said he could be the Walker Kessler of the Dame trade because, yes, he hasn't looked like an all-star or anything, but he's looked good. He's looked fun. And if he only continues to get better at that defensive end, I mean, he's already better than some players who have come through in the past couple of years. And
when you get Tamani and Jabari on the floor together, there's a lot of effort, hustle, and energy right there from those two.
Well, I like Jabari a lot too. He looks ready to play. Like he's bulked up a little bit. He
worked better. A lot during the offseason too.
Yeah, he definitely looks more comfortable. I remember last year when we had some reporters on from Boulder who covered him there at Colorado. I asked him, I think it was the day I was filling in for you actually, and I asked him like, how is Jabari going to get on the court in the NBA? And he said it's going to take time, but it's going to be his defense, and he's making good plays on the defensive end as well.
And DeAndre Ayton, he gets 30-plus minutes tonight, and look at his numbers. Ultra productive. And he's going to continue to get more minutes. He had some issues to start the year with foul trouble, but when he's on the floor, and you just look at his presence, and he made an impact tonight.
Yeah, I think he's the type too, Chad. He just needs to get into a groove. Once he gets into that groove, maybe that starts to become more of a consistent thing, yet not grabbing 23, 24 rebounds every single night. But you put those nights up. I mean, this is his second double-double through 4 games now, and I think Personally, I think he can get his season stats to about 18-10 when it's all said and done, which would be incredible. But no, tonight he really showed why Blazer fans were excited when that trade happened for him, because he's athletic, he moves great, and he made a difference.
All right, we'll keep things rolling here on fifth quarter. When we come back, we will hear from Coach Billups, and we'll give you a scoreboard report and let you know what's going on around the association tonight. All right, Chris Burkhardt and Chad Doing, we appreciate your time. You can join us live on the YouTube stream, youtube.com. Just go to our homepage, Rip City Radio 620. You'll find us there. And our next game will come up on Wednesday. I'll have game day at 1:30. Tip-off is at 4. They'll be in Detroit against the Pistons. It's the fifth quarter here on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, let's get you up to date on your night in the association. There are a couple of games that are in action right now. Third quarter in Denver, the Nuggets starting the season at 3-0. They lead the Jazz 73-65. Jokic, 19.6 rebounds, and 8 assists. Lauri Markkanen with 20 points and 10 boards thus far for the Jazz. First quarter just underway down in Los Angeles. Magic on top of the Lakers 6-4. Finals, Nets take out the Hornets in Charlotte 133-121. Bridges with 24 points and 7 rebounds. The Chicago Bulls take out the Indiana Pacers 112-105. Nikola Vucevic with 24 points and 17 rebounds. The Celtics top the Wizards in D.C. 126-107. Jaylen Brown 36 points, 6 rebounds, and added 3 steals. In Atlanta, the Hawks over the Timberwolves 127-113. Dejounte Murray 41 points and 7 rebounds. The Trailblazers top the Raptors tonight 99-91. DeAndre Ayton 10 points and a career high 23 rebounds. In Memphis, the Mavericks over the Grizzlies, who are now winless at 0-4, 125-110. Luka Doncic triple-double, 36 points, 12 boards, and 12 assists. The Milwaukee Bucks top the Miami Heat 122-114. Giannis finished the game with 33 points, and Damian Lillard 25 points and 4 assists. He was 7 of 14 from the floor. A couple other scores for you. The Warriors take out the Pelicans in New Orleans 130-102. Steph Curry had 42 points, and the Thunder topped the Pistons in OKC 124-112. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Mr. Automatic, 32 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 steals. Monday Night Football, Lions lead the Raiders in Detroit 23-14 with 10:28 to play in the game. And World Series game number 3 down in Arizona, top of the 9th. The Rangers lead the Diamondbacks 3-1. And that series is tied up at 1 game apiece. And that is your scoreboard report. All right, the Blazers take out the Raptors in Toronto tonight, 99-91 for their first victory. Let's check in with Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, let's do it, Burkhardt. That's what I get for being prepared, Chad.
I was just going to keep it quiet, but since you want to out yourself, that's fine.
I'm not a fan of that radio silence. But hey,
you want to try it again?
Hey, Chad, I got an idea. Let's listen to head coach Chauncey Billups.
Learned everything. Shai didn't have a college experience where he was able to learn a lot of. He came really almost from high school, and so his learning curve was a great one. You know, so I just thought, well, what he had coming in, just the institutional knowledge of the NBA and the game, it was almost a blank canvas. And boy, did he work his butt off last year. He came a long, long way, and he did the same thing this summer. And to the point now where we trust him, you know, on both sides of the ball, we trust him out there, you know, and he just continues every game. I mean, he made some big plays in this game, came up with some huge rebounds, some huge defensive stops. He's just, his ascension has been fun to watch.
You mentioned Malcolm, but also I thought Jeremy had a really good game tonight as well.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about the veterans kind of carrying you guys through the fourth quarter there a little bit.
Well, they did. I mean, we have to lean on our vets, you know, and we have to lean on Jeremy every single night. I thought Jeremy was good on both sides, you know, as this is a common theme. You know, we want our guys to be playing and be focused on the defensive side of the ball along with the offensive side. But Jeremy knows that we need a scoring, you know. So a lot of times he's worn down. It's a back-to-back, you know. It's one of the reasons why, even though the game kind of got away from us last night, that I didn't put those starters back in the game because I knew we was going to need them big time tonight, and that game got away. So that kind of paid off, but we knew we was going to need Jeremy to score the ball. We always do. So we always trying to find different ways for him. You know, we put him in a couple actions, and he was able to score through the flow. D.A. hit him on a backdoor cut one time for a nice dunk. We ran a similar play late in the game, and they switched it, and we did a good job of pinning in. He got a shot in a three ball in the corner. Jeremy was big time tonight.
Yes, following the last question that I asked you in the pre-game press conference, you have highlighted the advantage of the American players over the European players in terms of athleticism. But do you think that the American basketball should take the way to teach players from Europe in the sense of have you said before?
Yeah, I think both sides can make each other better, to be honest with you. I think some of the teachings and how they teach the game internationally from a young age are things that we should learn and try to help our game. And I think some of the ways that we teach our young players in our game, as far as the skill set and the handle and just the imagination of how you can play one-on-one wise, I think, they should take some of that too. So I really think it's a give and take thing. I highly respect the international game and how it's taught, how it's played. And I know they have a similar respect for us too.
All right, there's Coach Billups following the Blazers' victory tonight over the Raptors, and I think he's got a lot to be proud of. I'm just happy to see the progress with, the youngsters stepping up to make a contribution, the veterans doing a much better job tonight. And, again, this type of progress is to be expected, slow progress. And the reason why, two reasons why. It's the youth on the roster, youngest team in the NBA, and you've got guys who have not played together on the same team trying to figure things out, not just each other, but what the coaches are wanting them to do. You're doing this without your best player in Anthony Simons, so this is going to be choppy. And that's what I expect, choppiness, but you look for incremental growth and then see what these guys can do game to game. And tonight we saw multiple guys stepping up to make a contribution. So two things that I think brought the most satisfaction for me in this game: multiple people stepping up with game-winning plays to help the bottom line, and then just the defense. And the defense really carrying them through large stretches of the game when they were trying to figure things out offensively. What's amazing tonight is that they outshot Toronto at the three-point line. That's good.
That's not going to happen too much this season.
That's a rarity.
Yeah.
But the defense, when you just the hustle alone, when you're making an effort to chase down shooters, when you're being pesky, it starts to get into the mind of your opponent, and they start to rush things a little bit. They're not as comfortable, and they start to miss some of those shots. And that's what we saw tonight with the Raptors, who struggled connecting on just 40% of their shots tonight. That's good.
I just think it's interesting, Chad, that we're over here, we're talking about Tumani Kamara and DeAndre Ayton, Jeremy Grant, Malcolm Brogdon, and we're just kind of glossing over the fact that, yes, he fouled out, but Scoot had a solid game.
Better. Best game so far.
Yeah, and yes, he didn't light up scoreboard, only had 11 points, but honestly, I thought my favorite part of his game tonight was showing out the vision. The 7 assists were nice. He was making much better passes than he was just, a few games ago. He's starting to learn, and I mean, early on, there might be some nights, hopefully, where he gets more assists than he does points as he continues to learn. But I think people forget, you're so used to Damian Lillard, right? Who's going to go out there and he had a 70-point night that you all got to watch. Scoot is not a 70-point-a-night guy. He likes to distribute and get people involved. So I'm really, really liking the way that that's slowly starting to progress, even through just 4 games.
All right, we'll come back on fifth quarter, and we'll step into What's the Scoot. We'll focus in on Scoot Henderson, and then we'll move on and get ready for Wednesday. So that's where we're at. Blazers get their win, their first of the season, 99-91 over the Toronto Raptors here on 620 Rip City Radio. I feel like Metallica is in order after a Blazer victory. And they get the job done tonight, 99-91. And really, the front court tonight doing the job for the Trailblazers. They got 9 points on 3 of 4 shooting from downtown from Matisse Thybulle. Jeremy Grant, 22 points and 6 rebounds. Great effort from DeAndre Ayton, 10 points and a career-high 23 rebounds. And then you had great bench performances from Tamani Kamara and Jabari Walker. So, the Blazers, multiple guys stepping up to make a contribution, which is something you want to see. All right, let's do it. Let's go. What's the scoop?
The best performing team requires the best workstations. What's the Scoot is brought to you by Office Furniture Reborn. Need desks, better office chairs, or just the right file cabinet? Office Furniture Reborn has a huge selection of colors and sizes to choose from. So drop by Office Furniture Reborn's huge showroom just off Pacific Highway in 217 or visit www.officefurniturereborn.com.
All right, I understand that a lot of you are freaking out because Scoot through 3 games wasn't averaging 20 points and 15 assists a game on 55% shooting. But I would like to point out that he played his best game of the season tonight. And I'm looking for incremental growth. And what we saw tonight, he did foul out. So the fouls continue to be an issue, but that's going to be the situation he's dealing with for a while until he adjusts to how NBA officials work. Not that anyone ever figures that out because they're all clowns. I guess what you do is you become a star, cry a lot, and then they stop blowing the whistle on you. But aside from the foul issue, better performance tonight. 11 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. He had 4 turnovers, which is an improvement over the last couple of games, and 4 of 12 shooting, 0 of 6 from downtown. So I credit him on a couple of fronts. One, he continues to shoot, even though he's having an issue making threes right now. That's okay. Keep firing away and playing with confidence and being aggressive. And once he figures out the foul situation and gets better in that department, then he'll be able to play a little more free. But that was progress tonight. And like Chris said, he's right. There was better decision-making and better vision in the passing game. Now, this is all going to be part of the process as the game, it slows down and he adjusts. And as he does that, someone of his caliber, he'll be able to find it. But he had a couple of nice driving dishes, man, where he attacked the rim and then dropped it off for teammates for easy buckets. And he's going to get better and better at that. And you know how it is as a point guard. When you can set up your teammates and make their life easy, they love you for it. And they'll play hard for you. And then they'll get to the right spot because they know if they do, you're going to find them.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's exciting because I think he's got a big man that he can grow with quite nicely and hopefully develop a nice pick-and-roll offense with him. We talked about the other day when we had a caller complain about, his brick for hands. And, sometimes a big man has that. But there was a couple times throughout these first games where, DeAndre wasn't even expecting a pass. And Scoot was able to get the pass off. That's the kind of vision he has, and that's only going to get better with time.
I love his afro. I want to grow an afro, but I can't. But I love it, man. It's old school. It feels old school. I just love everything about it. It reminds me of some of the guys I grew up with. I'm down with that.
It just makes me think of Ben Wallace. That's who I think of from my era. I love how he would always come out one game with the fro, then the next game with the cornrows, and the next game with the fro. He changed it up all the time. I loved it.
He had great hair and ridiculous deltoids. Yes. Incredible shoulders.
Yes.
It's like, Ben, your shoulders shouldn't do what they do, but
shoulders
it looks amazing.
The size of most people's faces.
Oh, so good. But I do, the other thing that's good about Scoot, too, is I don't see that guy hanging his head. I've seen a lot of youngsters come in the league and they get off to a rough start and their body language expresses how they're feeling. But with Scoot, I don't see him hanging his head. He's engaged. That's a good thing.
Yeah. And right now, the foul trouble is a thing, but also you can't tell me that's not a byproduct of his coach telling them to be more aggressive. And that's not just be more aggressive offensively. That's be more aggressive on both ends. And if you continue to be aggressive, you're going to be into those weird situations where you get into foul trouble. But I think in the long run, you're going to learn from that. You're going to get more often than not in the right position at the right time. You learn from that's how you become a better defender, is not being afraid to even be in that position in the first place.
All right, now the Blazers move on to Detroit, and they'll get ready for a game that's coming up on Wednesday against the Pistons. And you know what? If they can go in there and challenge and put themselves in a position to do something there, that'd be great. And have their first 2 wins on the road, that'd be awesome. And we'll see what happens. Like I said, I have no expectations. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. And that's okay. Like I said, there's nothing to stress about. The Pistons whopped the Chicago Bulls 118-102 on Saturday. And they've got some good young talent. So we'll see how the Trailblazers respond to that challenge. Tonight, they got beat by the Thunder 124-112. But they've got a good young roster, so we'll have a chance to see some of their guys. Thompson, Stewart, Duren, Cunningham. I like watching Cunningham play. That guy's a baller. Cade Cunningham is a baller. And I like Jalen Duren, too.
They got some nice young pieces and a nice young coach too.
Some of these teams that have been, you're like, how'd they get all that talent? You're like, oh, because they've been picking up in the top of the lottery forever. Yeah, that's what's going on there. Yeah. Pistons have been bad for a long time. Ugh. Yeah, so that should be good.
Yeah, they tried to be good for a minute when they grabbed the ghost of Blake Griffin and thought that was going to get him somewhere.
That was the ghost, too. So bad.
Yeah.
That contract at the end of his time didn't look so good.
No, not at all.
He made some good money.
They got a nice arena, though. Give them that.
Little Caesars Arena.
Little Caesars Arena, and catering for media is Little Caesars, and I'm not complaining.
I used to love it because back in the day, $5 large, my mom would bring home pizza from Little Caesars. Or as my son calls it, hot and ready. I just grab a large, take it into my room.
Yeah.
That's good, dude.
Yeah. For all the people out there who say, "Oh man, Burkhardt, you like Little Caesars? X pizza's so much better." Now you love Little Caesars compared to some of the media dining out there. Let me tell you what.
Oh, dude, there's some bad media.
There is some bad media dining.
I did get jealous though because with Monday Night Football in Detroit, they were showing a couple of Detroit pizza spots in the Motor City, and I was like, oh, crispy crust on the bottom. The way they cook that, it's delicious.
I tell you that Chicago deep dish, that's the real deal.
Yeah, that's a not light and airy. That's a hefty meal.
Oh no, it's thick, but it's so dang good.
Yep, it's delicious. Okay, that's going to do it for us. Thank you, YouTube audience. Where are you? There you are. Thank you. I appreciate your time. So does Burkhardt. And we'll be back on Wednesday. Don't forget early start. So let's say that you're still at work and you're getting bored of your work and you want to tune in. We'll be on YouTube at 1:30. Game day 1:30 to 3. Tip-off against the Pistons at 4. And then we're back after the game with fifth quarter. And remember, starting a week from tomorrow, Rip City Mornings, Rip City Drive, all shows, all local shows will be live streamed right here on YouTube. And, of course, you can listen on 620 Rip City Radio. Your final score tonight from Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. Your Portland Trailblazers get their first win of the year, 99-91 over the Toronto Raptors. For Chris Burkhardt, I'm Chad Doing. Have a good night, my friends.